Okay, good evening to all. Here we are starting the 11th competency of the grade 10 syllabus. Now we have already discussed, right? In fact, the difficult part of the competency, it has already been discussed, right? Now from this lesson, we are discussing very simple things, but listen to me. To understand the content in this competency, we must have a very good knowledge in the lesson ledger. I mean the double entry system, right? Because the content of this lesson is depending on that particular lesson, right? So I think you are ready with the tutorial. Here we have it. And I'm taking you to the prepared presentation. Give me a minute, let me share it. Going to competency 11, the title is trial balance. I think we have heard that particular phrase many a times in this class, because I used to say this in front of the class many times. Let me recall where I have explained it after this particular slide. Can you remember? I taught you that there is something called dual aspect of a transaction. It means, Puta, in accounting, there is two aspects named in every transaction, namely debit, credit. Therefore, whenever you record a transaction under the double entry system, one account is debited and the other is always credited. The account is debit වෙනවා පුතා, අනිත් එක credit. ළමයි දැන් මේක කියන්න. Excuse me. Okay. Today, now listen to me. According to the double entry system, when you record a transaction, right, there are two aspects, namely debit and credit, where one account is debited, the other is credited. Okay. Today, the next thing is this debit and credit. Debit credit is completed in a place called the ledger. අපි කතා කරපු place එකක් තියෙන, ඒ place එකේ නම තමයි ledger. So the dual aspect of a transaction is completed in the ledger. Okay, then what හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. පුතා, ledger is the location where it completes the dual aspect of transactions. Debit, credit. හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න පුතා. If someone asks, where do we complete the double entry system? Your answer has to be in the ledger. Ledger. Okay, good. Today, I think you can remember the process and its location. I told you there are functions in accounting and there are different locations to perform those functions. Now we'll note this down, right? The first function is, write this down, recognition and measurement. Yeah. This is the first function of in the systematic process of accounting. Recognition, measurement. Okay. The second function is recording. Recording. Yeah. Second function is recording. Okay. Hari. Can someone say the third function? What is the function? What is the third function? What is the third function? Anyone in the class? First one is recognition and measurement. Second one is recording. What is the third one? Too many. Oshani. Ada kaudine panti dunit innawada? Dishans, Herschel, Jevin, anyone? Puta balanna meka matakada kiyala. Classifying. Classifying is the third function. Write this down. Classifying is the third function. And the final function is summarizing. Summarize. Yes, Dishans, very good. Right? The next function is summarizing. Today, according to the O-level syllabus, these are the functions that we have to memorize. If someone asks you, what are the functions of accounting? This is the answer that you have to give. Recognition and measurement, recording, classifying, summarizing. Okay. And at the same time, in accounting, we have different locations to perform. There are different locations to perform these functions. Today, with the red pen. With the red pen. Yes, Anuka, very good, Puta, very good. Once we recognize and measure a transaction, we have to record it or we have to issue a source document. I think we have discussed about the source documents. Accounting. One lesson, right, is connected to another, to the next lesson, next competency. Right? Try this down. This is better if you can use the red pen to write the locations down. Source documents. Second is using the source documents, we record the transactions in prime entry books. Prime entry books. That is the second location. Second location. Yes, Pudar. Very good. And after the prime entry books, after preparing the prime entry books, the information has to be classified in the ledger. Once again, this is the point where we complete the double entry system. Debit, credit. Debit, credit. Dishans, cash book ledger. And after that, after preparing the ledger, I think I've taught you how to balance the ledger accounts. Right? Those balances have to be summarized. There are two stages where the summaries are updated in accounting. Today, it is trial balance. Trial balance. And the next summary is financial statements. Financial statements. We have discussed, we have introduced the source documents, right? We have introduced the source documents in 7th competency. Then the prime entry books were also introduced in the same competency. Okay, we have discussed about all the prime entry books. Cash book, bank account, petty cash book, purchases journal, sales journal, general journal. We discussed about all the prime entry books. And then we discussed about the ledger in the lesson double entry system. There I taught you how to balance a ledger account out. Okay. Now what is left to discuss about we have discussed about the function of recognition and measurement, recording and classifying. We have discussed about it. Now what is left? What is left? This is what we have to do now. Summarize it. But listen to me, there are two summaries, two places where we can summarize the transactions. The first one is the trial balance, and the second one is financial statements. Do you know, in this competency, we are discussing, right, the trial balance only. Then source documents prepare. We discussed about the source document. Prime entry books, everything. We have discussed about 6 prime entry books. And the ledger accounts have been also discussed. Right? After that, we have to balance the ledger accounts. Even that has been taught. Now we have to prepare the trial balance. Do you know? We discussed about the financial statements in grade 11 syllabus. Competencies 5 and 6. Grade level. ඔන්න තියෙනවා පුතා. අපේ requirement එක. හරිද? Right. පුතේ. Now I do have written this and keep this idea in your mind. දැන් මම මොකද්ද කතා කරන්න යන්නේ? I'm discussing about the trial balance, and trial balance is one of the summaries where a business can prepare. Okay? Now, let's see the meaning of a trial balance. I think it is given in the tutorial. දැන් පුතේ tute එක මාත් එක්කම follow කරන් යන්න. හරිද? මගේ session එකත් එක්කම tute එකත් follow කරන් යන්න. හරිද? Right. Look at this. When a business recognizes and measures a transaction, it uses source document to display the relevant information. Highlight කරගන්න පුතා. Source documents. මේක highlight කරගන්න. When recognizes and measures, what we have to issue? Source document. Source document. Then, using these source documents, the business records the transactions in the prime entry books. Highlight करगන්න. Highlight करगන්න. Right? Subsequently, these entries in the prime entry books are classified in ledger accounts as මේක highlight කරගන්න debit and credit. ලස්සන note එකද බලන්න. Right? Now, everything, every figure is in the ledger accounts. Now, what you can do at the end of the period, you can balance the ledger accounts. Balancing. And after balancing the ledger accounts, those balances are needed to be summarized. Where? In the trial balance. In the trial balance. Right? In the trial balance. In the trial balance. Then take out your red pen and take this note down. මෙතන පොඩියට මේ note එක ලියන්න. with the red pen. මෙන්න පොඩියට ලියාගන්න මේ note එක. මම මේ note එක ලියාගන්න. හරිද? Trial balance is recognized. Trial balance is recognized as the initial summary of the ledger accounts. Trial balance is recognized as the initial summary of the ledger accounts. That helps that helps a business to check that helps a business to check whether the total of debit balances are equal with the total of credit balances the total of the debit balances are equal with the total of credit balances. Total of credit balances. Okay. පුතා මම කියවනේ මම ටියුට් සලද්දී බොහොම සැලකිලිමත් වෙලා ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ I'm following the content of the textbook, right? And I'm providing these notes in an attractive way where everybody can study very easily. So please make sure that you complete the tunes in time. Okay, good. Let me move to the next topic. Now I'm moving to the next one. Trial balance, what is it? Today, previously I told you, according to the dual aspect of a transaction, every transaction has a debit balance and a credit balance. And every transaction, there is a debit balance, there is a credit balance. Do you understand? At the end of the period, the total of the debits should be equal to the total of the credits. Okay? Total of the debits should equal to the total of the credits. Right? Remember that, because every single transaction has a debit and a credit balance. Okay. Anyway, the correctness of the postings to the ledger must be verified. We have to verify whether we have posted the debit and the credit balances correctly to the ledger. That has to be verified. That has to be verified. Okay. Today, the trial balance is prepared for this purpose. To do what? To check whether every transaction has correctly recorded in the debited and the credited accounts. That is why we prepare the trial. Are we clear with that? Are we clear? And it's a statement which prepared with all the balances of ledger accounts. Trial balance. It is a statement with all the balances of ledger accounts during an accounting period. Give me a minute. Right. It's a statement which prepared with all the balances of ledger accounts. That is why I told you it is a summary. It is a summary of the ledger accounts. And then it just ensures the arithmetical accuracy of the postings. I wanted to highlight this part. Arithmetical accuracy. It means you can just check whether the numbers are correct. I repeat, by using a trial balance, you can check what? Whether the numbers are correct. Right? Good. Okay. Please refer the tutorial. Session right. Okay. I'm moving to the next topic. That is features of a trial balance. ළමයි දැන් මම මේ කියලා දෙන්නේ. මම මේවා පුතේ හැම දරුවෙක්ටම මේ වෙනකම් මගේ ඉගෙන ගත්ත හැම O level දරුවෙක්ටම කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා. But the problem is some students easily forgets what is taught in the class. පුතා, even I could have taught all these things in a board, whiteboard. මට whiteboard එකක් ගෙදර තියෙනවා. හරිද? But I'm not using it. The reason is here I have to give you a different experience other than in your school. That is why I am preparing these presentations. හරිද? මම කියවනේ පුතේ මම මගේ වැඩේ හරියටම කරන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. For me it takes some time to prepare these tutorials, to prepare the presentations, but I'm doing it with kind of a passion, commitment, because I know that if I do this, the student can understand very easily. So I need something in return for this. I need something in return for this. That is your marks. Okay, good. Okay. A trial balance, the first feature is a trial balance is prepared as on a certain date. In fact, you prepare a trial balance at the end of the period, in the last date of the accounting period. It may be the end of a month or end of a year. Right? That is the first feature. Is it given in the trial balance, in the tutorial? Features of a trial balance? එක දීලා නේ මම එක දීලා අන්තිමට ආපහු මම අයින් කරා. Yes. Write this down. First feature, it is prepared as on a certain date. As on a certain date. Yeah. Second one, it contains a list of all ledger accounts. In a trial balance, what can you find? It includes a list of all the ledger accounts. All the ledger accounts. It contains a list of all ledger accounts. Okay. Although it contains a list of ledger accounts, trial balance is not a ledger account. Another trial balance කියන්නේ පුතා account එකක් නෙමෙයි. හරි. It includes a list of all the ledger accounts of a business, but trial balance is not a ledger account itself. It is just a statement which includes all the ledger accounts of a business. I repeat, trial balance is not a ledger account. Put that one true and false 100%. Trial balance is a ledger account. Is it a true statement? No, it is not. It is not a ledger account. It is just a statement. Put trial balance මේකත් මෙහෙම ලියා ගන්නකෝ. Trial balance is not a ledger account or a prime entry book. ගොඩක් ළමයි වරද්ද ගන්න තියෙනවා. පොඩෙන් මම මේක මෙහෙම වෙනස් කරනවා. මම තවත් දෙයක් කියනවා නේ. අපිට මේක දැන් ඉස්සරහින් තමයි කතා කරන්න තියෙන පැටියෝ. මේ පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න. චුට්ටක් කොහොම ඉන්න. ඒ පොයින්ට් එක මෙන්න මෙහෙම ලියන්න. ඒ පොයින්ට් එක මෙන්න මේ විදිහට ලියන්න. Right? Okay. Please write that point like this way. Trial balance is not a ledger account. It is not a ledger account. Trial balance is not a ledger account, comma, a prime entry book, or a financial statement. Trial balance is not a ledger account, a prime entry book, or a financial statement. Point that includes everything. පුතා මම ආයි පාරක් රිමයින්ඩ් කරනවා. දැන් මේ පාර දැම්ම පාඩම් කරගන්න. Trial balance කියලා කියන්නේ පුතා. A trial balance is not a ledger account, not a prime entry book, or not a financial statement. Please make that change. Trial balance is not a ledger account, not a prime entry book, or a financial statement. Huh? Let me take you to the slide again. Have finished writing? පුතා දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ අන්තිම ටර්ම් ටෙස්ට් එක ඊළඟ පාර එන්නේ හැමෝම මම ප්‍රමණ ටාගට් එකක් දෙන්න හැම දරුවෙක්ම over 80 ගන්න ඕන ටර්ම් ටෙස්ට් එකට over 80 marks you can do it definitely you can do it okay good okay our next point total of the debit and the credit amount columns of the trial balance must tally right අයි මම එහෙම කියන්නේ because every single transaction has a debit and a credit column. Yeah, of course, Anuka. Very good. Very good. But if you can do it, huh? But if you can do it. Of course you can do it. Huh? Right. So, since every transaction has a debit and a credit balance for credit balance, the total of the debit and the credit columns of the trial balance must tally always. That is the next feature. My next point is this. Make it clear. If the debit if the debit and credit amounts are equal, we assume that the ledger accounts are arithmetically accurate. Arithmetically accurate. If the total of the debit is equal to the total of the credits, right? What you can conclude? Okay, you can conclude, okay, the total of the debit is equal to the total of the credits. That's it. Are you there? Difference in the debit and the credit columns points out that some mistakes have been committed. Okay, if you have any difference in the debit and the credit columns, it shows you that some mistakes have been committed. Debit credit සමාන නැත්නම් what decide කරන්න පුළුවන් මොකක් හරි වැරද්දක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. So later we are going to do activities today. Let's see. Right. Committed. And the last one, tallying of a trial balance is not a conclusive accuracy of accounts. Don't ever say that. By just agreeing a trial balance, you have correctly recorded and classified the transactions in the accounting. You can't do it. You can't say that. Okay. The reason will be provided in the next competency, rectification of errors. Although the trial balance agree, there may be mistakes. Right? Now, try to understand. When the trial balance disagree, you can easily identify, okay, there are mistakes or right? But look at this point. Even the trial balance agrees, there may be errors. There may be errors. Okay? I give you 2 minutes to go through all these points and write them down. විනාඩි 2ක් දෙනවා. ටක් ගාලා මේක ලියාගෙන කියව ගන්න. Have you finished? Let's get back to the tutorial. That tutorial ලස්සනට complete කරලා තියෙනවා. හරි? Right. Then look at this point. Only like relationship between the ledger accounts and trial balance. Previously, I told you in the trial balance, we record the balances of ledger accounts. Right? So listen to me. I told you that the trial balance is not a ledger account. It is a statement with two sides. Okay. In fact, with two columns. Two columns. This should be not the debit side. It should be debit column. Credit column. Debit column, credit column. Right? Sides name. Thin columns. Later I'm going to give you a format. Then I think most of you in the class, right, they know that there are 5 types of ledger accounts. There are assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses. Let's see where we record these balances in the trial balance. अपने trial balance के लिए कोई तो record कराने. Where we record them, where we can record them. Are we clear? Good. Okay. Let me take you to the presentation again. Okay. How to prepare the trial balance. I told you that we have 5 types of ledger accounts balances. There are assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses. Right? Income and expenses. Right? Then, debit column of the trial balance. And we have credit column of the trial balance. Debit column එකක් තියෙනවා, credit column එකක්. Right? Then make a පාඩම් කරගන්න ඕනේ. Because without this part, we can't move further, especially for the activities. Right? Put down the balances of assets accounts. Do you know? They have to be recorded in the debit column. යා කරගන්න හරියට. Draw a line, draw an arrow. Assets to the debit column. Assets, if you have the balance of assets, those balances should be recorded in the debit column of the balance. And then the liabilities, you know, the normal balance of the liabilities in the credit column, the credit side. Therefore, the balances of the liability accounts are recorded in the credit column. Credit column. Credit column. Then equity also has a credit balance. Therefore, equity is also recorded in the credit column. Credit column. Credit column. පුතේ බලන්න ඊළඟ දෙක මාරු වෙලාද බලන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඔව්. මේකේ තියෙන්නේ income කියලා percentage එකේ තියෙන expense මෙතන income මෙතන. හරිද? දැන් හොඳට බලලා යා කරන්න. හරිද? Therefore, I'm moving to the next one. මම ඊළඟට යනවා. Here. හොඳට බලන්න. දැන් ඔයාගේ තියෙන්නේ income තියෙන්නේ උඩින්. හොඳේ? Expenses are recorded in the debit column, income in the credit. හරියට බලලා යා කරගන්න. Income, it was the income in the credit column, expenses in the debit column. Okay. හරිම ලස්සන පාඩමක් පුතා. මම ඊට වඩා කියනවා මේක හරිම ලස්සන practical subject එකක්. හරිද? Right? The content, right? I told you previously also. Everyone, each and every one of us, right, will deal with incomes and expenses in future. All of us, you, me, I'm always engaged with those, right? You too. Right? Right. Okay. Now this is the summary. In the debit column, what you can disclose? assets, expense. In the credit column, liabilities, equity, and income. Then පාඩම් කරගන්න. හරිද? Now let me take you to the tutorial again. හරිද පුතා? So the next one is activity. Activity එකක් තියෙනවා. පුතේ පුතාට දන්න විදිහට මේ තියෙන දැන් ඔයාලා මෙතන මම ලිස්ට් එකක් දීලා තිබුණා. මේ පුතාට තේරෙන විදිහට මේ ඉස්සරහින් ලියන්න පුළුවන්ද? මම විනාඩියක් දෙන්න. විනාඩි දෙකක්. Land කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Is it an asset? If it is an asset, write it down as an asset. Creditors. ඔක්කොම ලියන්න ඕනේ asset නම් A අකුර දාන්න. Creditors, write liability. Put L there. Start it now. Start it now. ටක් ගාලා පටන් ගන්න බලන්න. try එකක් දෙන්න බලන්න කරා. මම කරන්නේ. right. පොඩ්ඩක් හිටපො මාත් එක්කම කරමුකෝ ඒක. හරි. මේ තියෙන්නේ මම පුතාට දීලා තියෙන ට්‍රයිල්. මම චුට්ටක් ස්ක්‍රීන් එක පොඩි කරනවා. ඒතර ඔක්කොම ඒතර එකපාරට ගන්න. right. okay. Now this is the trial balance which I have given you. හරිද? මේ තාම පුතාට මම දීලා තියෙන trial balance. හරිද? right. land කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? asset. Everybody knows it. පොඩියට රතු පැනින් ඒ අකුර දාගන්න asset කියලා දාගන්න. Then what is creditors? It is a liability. දැන් මේක පුතේ මම කියවනේ ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න ඕන දේවල් තියෙනවා. Sales, what is sales? Income. 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 Buildings. පුතේ මට ටග්ගල උත්තර ටික වන්න. Buildings කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? තමයි. මම ලිය කියනකොට ඔයා කිව්වොත් ලස්සනයි. Buildings කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Very good. Very good. ඔක්කොම ඕනේ නැහැ පුතේ assets නම් ඒ දාලා ඉවන්න. Buildings කියන්නේ පුතා asset. Good. Then what is purchases? Purchases කියන්නේ පුතා very good. Expenses. EX දාලා. Expense. මොකද equity තියෙනවනේ EX. දැන් හැමෝම සම්බන්ධ වෙන පුතේ පාඩමට. Then debtors. Debtors definitely asset. Asset. Very good. Cash. Cash. Yes, අනුක සෑහෙනවද පුතා? Cash කියන්නේ asset එක. Perfect. What about water bill, salaries and electricity? ඒ ඔක්කොම මොනවද? All of them are expenses. Huh? Expenses. Yeah, man. What about 10% investment? Investment කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Very good. Asset. දැන් ඔය දන්නේ පුතා මං කිව්වේ. පුතාලා දැන් ඔය දිගටම පාඩම කරානේ. ඔන්න ඒකයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ උත්තර දෙන්නේ. You know what is it? Right? මම කිව්වනේ පුතේ ඔයාට මේ subject එකට you can easily score an A pass. අපි ඒක අපුතේ තව සති කීපයකින් අපි syllabus එක cover කරනවා. මම හැබැයි grade 11 වලට යන්නේ නැහැ දැම්මම. මම ඕගොල්ලොත් එක්ක ආපහු පාරක් syllabus එක revise කරන මුලින් ඉඳලා. Right? Using the textbook. මම අලුත් process එකක් හොයාගන්න මේකට අලුත් විදියක් මම මේ දවස්ටි කල්පනා කර ඉන්නේ. So I'm refining the recalling the syllabus from the beginning. හැබැයි ඉක්මනට යන්න ඕන. හරි? Right. Then what about 15% bank loan? 15% bank loan liability, very good. Then interest received on investment. interest received on investment. Sanaka සෑහෙන හොඳයි පුතා. Do you take income expense නෙමෙයි. ඒකේ asset උත් නෙමෙයි additions. Income received is an income. Interest received is an income. Income. හදාගන්න. Interest received on investment, income. What about this one? Interest on bank loan. That is, of course, expense. So as the discounts allowed. Yes, Nishan, very good. Right. Kalpana karla kiyanne. What is discounts received? Very good pute. Income. Income. Manta podi deyak kiyanne. Harida. Lamai. Then, ogollo, when you, on the next year, right, after 2 years, you have to select a stream for A levels. Right? Man podi request ekak karana. Because do you know, today also, right, 2 students, right, mama ඇත්ත කියන්නේ ළමයි දෙන්නෙක්, they wanted to shift for the commerce stream from the math stream after 1 year. අවුරුද්දකට පස්සේ ළමයි දෙන්නෙක් එනවා math stream එක commerce stream එක. So they have already spent 1 year in the math stream. මම කියන්නේ පොඩි request එකක්. In fact, it's an advice too. Puta, if you are comfortable with this subject, I am inviting you to select commerce as your advanced level stream. මොකද maths කරන්නත් ඕන ඔයගොල්ලෝම තමයි පුතේ. But for that, even the bio has to be done by the same students. But let me tell this to you. If you feel comfortable with this particular subject, right, it is better. Mama කිසිම බලපෑමක් කරනවා නෙමෙයි. I'm not influencing on your decisions. But if you feel comfortable, remember, you can easily score 3 A's on this subject and get into the university. These days, some people that says different things, different, comments on university, right, university education. But I have another different mindset regarding that. So keep that in your mind. Okay? Insurance, expense, rent paid expense. What about capital? Capital can. What is capital? Capital is equity. On ඕකවට කරගන්න පුළුවන් නම් මේ ගන්න සම්පූර්ණ ලකුණක් ලැබෙනවා. Right? Good. Then turn to the next page, please, where we have the trial balance. Trial balance. Today, at the top of the trial balance, write down this title. Meeting trial balance के format trial balance के बदल लिया ना. Trial balance as at 31st December. Trial balance as at 31st December. පුතාට අමතක වෙනවා නම් මෙන්න මේක trial balance එක පැත්තකින් ලියා ගන්න. What is it? This one. In the debit column, we record assets and expenses. In the credit column, equity, liabilities, and income. On a side with the pencil, doesn't matter. Write with the pencil. Right. Let's carefully record these items in the trial balance now. Land. It's an asset. So in which column we should record it? Then බලන්න මේ trial balance කොහෙද record වෙන්න ඕන? Very good. Land is in the debit side, 150,000. ලස්සනට figures ටිකලදී බලන්න මේ පිළිවෙලට ලියන්න. එක කෙලින් ලියන්න. එකතු කරන්න පුළුවන්. Land 150. Then creditors. On which side you have to record the creditors balance? Then kalpana. Creditor is a liability. So it should be available in the credit side. 70,000 credit. Okay. Sales. Sales को record में ये मैं बता. Credit column 186,000. Credit 186,000. Buildings. Buildings. Asset 95,000. 95,000 assets. Because it's an asset. Buildings 95,000. Debit column. Purchasers. Purchasers. Purchases can it's an expense. So on which column we have to write the balance? In the debit column, 64,000. Yes, right, follow my speed. Okay, Puta. Then debtors. Debtors. 35,000 debit. Debit. 35,000 debit. After that, cash 27,000 debit. Debit 27,000 debit. Okay. Then water bill expense debit column 6,000. In the debit column, what we record assets and expenses. In the credit column, income, liabilities, and equity. Salaries, expense, recorded in the debit column, 28,000. 28,000. Then, electricity, 7,000, debit. Debit. Because it's an expense. Then there is a 10% investment. 10% investment. Mokadda category. It is an asset. Record the balance in the debit column, 80,000. 80,000. Okay, good. Then 15% bank loan. Another category. It's a liability. So be careful. That should be recorded in the credit column. Credit column, 100,000. After that, interest received on investment. Interest. Any question? Who is this? Dulani? Shamupatini? Please change your name to your the device name to your real name, sir. Interest. Pavani, do you have any question? Interest received on investment. It's an income. Record the balance in the credit column. 8,000. 8,000. Interest on bank loan. It's an expense, 15,000. Then interest received on investment is an income. Interest on bank loan, interest paid on bank loan is an expense. Discounts allowed 4,000 debit. Okay. Then discounts received. Discounts received. Income. Income na ko done. Credit side 16,000. 16,000. Insurance expense debit side 7,000. 7,000. Rent paid expense 22,000 debit side. Debit column make a record. Finally, capital, equity, credit column 160. ඔන්න ට්‍රයිල් බලන්න දැන් බලන්න ලස්සනයි නේද බලන්න අපි ලස්සනට රෙකෝඩ් කරා now let's get the sum ඔන්න මම පුතාට මම මේකෙන් අරන් දෙනවා sum එක ඔයාලට පුළුවන් නම් ආපහු මේකෙන් පස්සේ session එකෙන් පස්සේ මේක එකතු කරලා බලන්න හරිද මේ බලන්න පුතා the addition of the debit side is 540,000 see the addition of the credit side is also exactly 540. Now what you can decide? The balances accounts are arithmetically accurate. But still there may be errors. But arithmetically the numbers are correct. Understood? Conclude this activity. And lamai adu homework එකක් දෙන්න. ඒ තමයි. You have to refer the next activity, activity number 2, Leela Ratna Traders. Okay පුතා pencil අරගෙන මේ පැත්තෙන් ලියාගෙන යන්න. This is very good activity. Income, assets, liability, income, equity, income and expenses. And after that, prepare the trial balance. මේ තියෙන trial balance එක හදලා බලන්න උත්තරේ එනවද කියලා. පුතා after doing this activity, then make a check on then karando. Send me your answers to check. Try your best to get the SOFP agreed. Sorry, the trial balance agreed. Right? So, yes, Duniti, in questions, always the debit should equal to the credits. Otherwise, there are mistakes. Carriage inverse can additions expense. Carriage inverse can expense. So it should be recorded the debit column. Carriage inverse is expense. Anything that you want to know? Right? Now what you record in the debit column? Assets and expenses. In the credit column, what you record? Equity, income and the liabilities. Can you do it? Yes, you have to. This is the end of the first session of 11th competency. quick revision එකක් කරනවා. යාළුවෙම ඉන්නවා නම් කියන්න syllabus එක මම මුලින් ඉඳලා කරනවා පන්තියේ. හරිද? I'm discussing the syllabus from the beginning. පුතාලගේ grade 11 එක මම පටන් ගන්නෙ at the end of අපි syllabus ඉස්කෝලේ පාඩමත් එක්ක මේක ඉවර කරගමු. හරිද? මට පොඩ්ඩක් අපව grade 10 එක පොඩ්ඩක් study කරන්න ඕන කට්ටියගේ මට දැනෙනවා පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක. So therefore, once the syllabus is over, we are going through a very quick revision on the grade 10 syllabus. The quick revision එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කරනවා. පළවෙනි පාඩම එක දවසකදී ඒ වගේ දෙවෙනි පාඩම එක දවසකදී right? So it will be a very quick revision. So if you have new friends who want to go through the subject again, please inform them. I'll inform you the date where we can start it, right? So then that's all for today. So until we meet again on next week. And children, if you have, I think some have send the request to pay the fees for November, right? November. So please settle the fees, Puta. Don't wait until I inform you again. Please send make the deposit and send me the deposit details, right? Are you there? Okay, Pute. Then that's all for today. Have a good day, good night, and God bless you. Thank you very much. Good night.